She Said, out in theaters, new film starring Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan. It's the story of the New York Times investigation into sexual abuse in Hollywood, which started with Harvey Weinstein and led into the very far-reaching Me Too movement. In many ways, it reminded me of films like Spotlight or The Report with Adam Driver, in the way that it does two things quite well. The first one is to document a public issue that is quite important and in this case really still ongoing. And so the movie serves a little bit as a historical record of what happened. And yeah, some people might say, oh, but this just happened. Isn't it too soon to make a movie about that and sort of repeat this media story all over again? Well, I don't think that it is. It's been a couple of years already, and also you have to keep in mind that the movie will stay, it will live on. So people who will revisit it further in the future, when the memory of the scandals will not be as clear, I think we'll find it much more interesting. And I think that it's important to sort of have that record. Secondly, though, the film attempts to also be just a well-made piece about investigative journalism, about the work of those women from the New York Times who had to dig deep, make numerous phone calls, dig through documents, travel to meet people in person, try and convince them to tell their stories, to use their real names, connect all of those well-hidden dots. And I would say it's quite successful in this attempt. It is a genuinely engaging movie. I would say for me it was more interesting in the second half because the beginnings of the investigation take up a fair amount of time, and since we already know roughly where this is going, perhaps the pacing could be somewhat improved there. But then once the investigation is in full swing, I thought that the film improves, and by the end of it I was on the edge of my seat. I was waiting for the article to finally be published. I also think that what helps the movie are the two central performances. Carey Mulligan is terrific as always, and something about her performance tells me that the issues explored by the film are something that she perhaps cares about personally. Maybe it's because she already did one movie which deals with sexual abuse of women, The Brilliant, Promising Young Woman. But in any case, even if that's not true, her performance feels very real, at the same time grounded and raw, with a lot of emotions going on, beneath the surface. Zoe Kazan is great as well. She plays it more innocently as a sort of younger journalist who's herself very shocked by what she begins to uncover and how far-reaching the issues are. The supporting cast is very good. The stories, as far as I can tell, are all accurate, with the slight exception of the Ronan Farrow investigation, which in the film, so that was done for the New Yorker, a separate magazine or newspaper. In the film, it's shown to just sort of happen concurrently to the Times thing, whereas in real life, Farrow's work for the New Yorker was first. It was the spark that pushed the Times team to even begin going on with the topic after sitting on it essentially for years for fear of getting sued if they published anything. I think it's a solid movie overall. It uses a lot of tools familiar in this sort of journalism movie genre. But I mean, when something works, why not use it? So even though it doesn't break entirely new ground, it's certainly well made, and it's one of those topics which I'm glad a movie was made about for posterity.